Hey, what's up guys? It is day 22, Saturday, of the Persona 5 dailies. Today we're going to learn about coffee and Power Rangers. Go figure. So speaking of Captain Kidd, I really love his original concept art. I think it's kind of unfortunate that he got, like, his design in the game is really cool, but I love his original design, especially the gibble that surrounds him, which admittedly would have been a bit more graphic. In case you're not aware, a gibble is actually basically a way of displaying a body after an execution, after someone's been hanged, to display the body, to like ward off crime. They did it back when, like, in the pirate days, obviously Captain Kidd being a pirate. And actually one of the second images, I shit you not, when you look up gibble on Wikipedia, is of Captain Kidd being displayed to people as a warning. So
それが一回きりのチャンスにかかってるんだもん。やっぱり不安だよ。でももう信じて待つしかないんだよね。ごめん、聞いてくれてありがとう。とりあえず学校は行かなきゃね。Hello, everyone. "答えてちょうだい。えーっとこれだ。正解よ。やるじゃねえか。
So she mentions talent as a form of currency in ancient Greece, but actually it goes a little bit deeper than that. So originally, the use of the word talent was actually a unit of measurement in Mesopotamia, which Greece is a part of, all things considered. Part of Mesopotamia would eventually become Greece. And this weight of measurement would eventually be used to weigh out gold, aka become the unit of, and that is how ultimately it would become the unit for money. However, there are certain discrepancies depending on where you are in the world about how much they are worth between Egypt, Rome, and other parts of Mesopotamia. Money back in the old days, very, very confusing. I believe the standardized value of talent in the Western world, called the Homeric talent, ended up being roughly the amount of gold of the value of an ox or cow. So you can see how close this was to the bartering system. It looks to me like one of the early attempts of translating barter into a currency system. So there's a fact inside a fact. Something I forgot to point out is that on the newscast, they mention Naoto Shiragane as the original detective prince. And that is actually a reference to a character from a Persona 4, a character whose gender expression has been up for debate for a lot of different cases. Naoto Shiragane in Persona 4 pretends to be a young man for most of the game until the end of it, in which Naoto allows herself to be more feminine. Some people have taken this as a degree of gender expression, which I think is totally valid, and if that is your canon for the character, go right ahead, please, by all means. However, from what I can tell of it, it seems more so a matter of role of gender than an expression of their own view of their own gender. That they saw that they wouldn't be taken seriously as a detective, as a woman, so they portrayed themselves as being a man to be taken more seriously, which itself has its own conversation. You know, I think it is interesting to see this character put into a different light for different people, depending on your perspective on gender fluidity, etc. They actually do make a few references to older games throughout it, but this is a way of integrating the events of Persona 4 into Persona 5 into an ambiguous timeline. Part-time jobs in Persona 5. To be honest, they're kind of useless. I did them very, very infrequently. The only reason I would do the ones that I did were for points or for a confidant rank. And the main reason for that is because getting money through other means, by either grinding or by using fairly simple exploits, was a lot more advantageous and allowed you to focus on other things in the game. Like, you can decide to avoid exploits avoid exploits and whatnot on principle, which is fine, but in general, the part-time jobs sort of lose some of their impact because of that. You'll see later today that I do actually do the flower job, just because I wanted the kindness points, so...
どうする？はじめまして。よろしくね。おー。はい。お疲れ様。調子はどうだ？
よし。
帰るとするか。
ああ、帰ったか。
書くか。
So Featherman might be something you probably understand that reference, but it's based on Super Sentai, which was a series that incidentally started in like 1975. But we would know him, but like in the West, you would probably know it more by Saban Entertainment's name of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers in the early 90s. As you can see, there's like a 15-year difference, and because of that, there are actually several generations before Power Rangers even started, where Super Sentai was continuing to run. And at this point, I think there's like, God, there is a lot. There is a lot of different Super Sentai. 20, 30 something. It's a really surprisingly large number. And incidentally, if you were watching the American version of it, you were actually seeing half original footage, which were these sort of live action pieces without the suits, where they were completely different characters. And you were seeing the Japanese parts, which were in the original suits, which, you know, ran into this funny accident where you had one character who apparently like switched genders, I think in the second generation of Power Rangers, when they changed to the Power Rangers suit, which, fun fact, I guess, I don't know. Well, in case you weren't aware, Super Sentai has been running for a lot longer than Power Rangers. They're still going, man. Like, they released a new production in 2020 called Machine Sentai Kiri Magura, which, I don't know, go check it out, cause I'm curious.
Yoshi.
Regarding Blue Mountain Coffee, the
説明しよ
thing
う
that's interesting to me about, like, I did like a coffee study back in like college, of course in college, but like, incidentally, coffee isn't native to Jamaica, even though that part of the world does distribute a large quantity of the coffee that goes out into the world. a large part of where French colonies were spread across that hemisphere of the world, coffee was introduced as a money crop, similar to like tobacco, and in this case was introduced in like 1728 to like varying degrees. They're actually quite particular about what counts as Blue Mountain. Anything above 910 meters, which is about 3,000 feet, is considered to be Blue Mountain. Anything below that mark, from 3,000 to 1,500 meters, is called High Mountain. And anything below that is considered Low Mountain. And that is the end of Saturday. We sprinkled in a few fun facts across the way, and we learned about all sorts of things. I learned a lot of fun things in the process of having to study for these episodes. Like, I didn't know originally that talent was a weight of measurement, and now I know a thing. And so I hope you learned something new as well. If you have anything you want to add to this, if you have anything more you want to jump off from the information that we gave today, by all means, please do. Or if there's anything you noticed that you thought was interesting, let me know in the comments. We can keep sharing and educate each other. For now, take care, have a wonderful Saturday, and I will see you again tomorrow morning. Take care.